YouTube channel Nos Confunden. Their footprints engraved in the marrow of the earth still whisper beneath the weight of oblivion. Their bones now buried beneath centuries of denial, dissolved in layers of silence and fabricated dust. History, tamed by hands fearful of awakening, reduced them to myth, to a distorted echo, a fable meant to distract. But there are cracks in the official narrative, fissures through which the whispers of truth seep, that before empires, before calendars, men of celestial proportions walked among the winds, guardians of a knowledge that time could not entirely bury. We live surrounded by their footprints. We walk over their ruins. We climb mountains unaware that their remains still sleep beneath the hard rock and snow. We repeat their names without knowing where they come from. And yet, we were taught to believe they never existed. They keep telling us giants are myths, fables, symbols, but their traces remain. In the names of nations, in impossible megaliths, in structures that defy our scale, in the enduring memory of ancient peoples. England offers a clear example. Its oldest name, Albion, comes from the giant who, according to legend, inhabited and shaped those lands. The giants of Albion aren't just stories. They are tied to traditions that credit them with building the great stone circles like Stonehenge, whose blocks were moved and placed with a precision we still can't explain. These works weren't made for modern humans, and certainly not by them. Nos confunden. The Bible is full of references to giants. In Genesis, the Nephilim are described, mighty men of old, born from the union of the sons of God and human women. The book of Enoch goes even further. It describes these beings as bearers of forbidden wisdom, pursued for defying divine orders. King Og of Bashan, according to Deuteronomy, had a bed over 4 meters long. This isn't metaphor, it's a trace that challenges the official story. Spain also holds persistent memories. In the festivals of Navarre, Galicia, and the Basque country, giants and big-heads beings parade through the streets. Many believe it's just folklore, but these are echoes of a much older memory. Nos confunden. The Basajaun, the forest lord in Basque tradition, was a wise colossus who protected the secrets of the land. In Catalonia, the Gigants still walk in processions, as if part of that lineage refuses to disappear. In the flat northern lands of Europe, Frisia holds even more direct accounts. A race of giants is said to have built the dikes, the artificial elevations, the energetic mounds, and disappeared in a great flood. Legends say they could read the skies, build with earth, and communicate with invisible forces. Survivors supposedly fled to forgotten islands, and their descendants became royal bloodlines. It is no coincidence that many maps from the past included a mysterious island called Friesland between Iceland and Scotland, described as high land with strange inhabitants, a cartographic error or a sunken truth. Scythia, stretching from the Black Sea to Central Asia, was described by the Greeks as a land of enormous warriors, children of a hero and a serpent woman. Herodotus wrote that Heracles fathered children there who ruled the steppes. In Scythian burial mounds, archaeologists found skeletons over 2 meters tall, massive weapons, and entire horses buried with their riders. These finds were ignored or explained away with ritual or genetic excuses. Nos confunden. In Malta, the Gantija megalithic temple, its name meaning Tower of Giants, is said by locals to have been built by a giantess named Sunsuna, who carried massive stones while breastfeeding. Each block weighs over 50 tons. Mediterranean traditions agree. The first temples were raised by earlier races, with large bodies and a deep connection to the heavens. Further south, in remote Patagonia, Pigafetta, Magellan's chronicler, wrote of encountering a man so tall we barely reached his waist. He called him Patagon, and thus Patagonia was born. He was not alone. Drake, Byron, and Van Noort also described giant beings in the far south. Old maps noted land inhabited by giants and illustrated colossal figures. These accounts were later erased. Patagonia lies near the Antarctic Circle. Many believe these giants were ancient guardians displaced after the 1728 reset, when humanity was altered and history rewritten. Nos confunden. Today, we know of the Great War taking place on unknown southern islands between Patagonian giants, genetically modified in custodial Anunnaki laboratories, and military forces sent there as part of weapons testing. Ireland preserves the Fomorians, ancient giants from before humans. Children of deep sea and primordial chaos, they were wise and feared. The most famous, Bela, had a single eye that destroyed what it saw, an allegory for ritual, not savagery. The myths tell of battles between the Fomorians and the Tuatha De Danann, new humans of light and balance. The result was a fusion. Much of modern Irish myth speaks of this hybrid legacy. In Scotland, tales of trolls or trolls, beings turned to stone by sunlight, may be degenerated memories of real giants. The land is full of megaliths, stone circles, and hills said to house buried colossi. Caledonia, the land's ancient name, suggests land of the mighty. Further north, Greek texts speak of the Hyperboreans, tall, long-lived beings who lived beyond the north wind in a hidden land untouched by time. Apollo was said to visit them every 19 years. Some link them to Tartaria, the giant human empire erased in 1728. In Siberia, myths still tell of Urukai or Uragsha, giants who walked among men until retreating into the mountains or ice. The Altai caves hide impossible structures and buried ruins the modern world ignores. Nos confunden. The official version denies all this. We are told it's metaphor, myth, or mistake. But no solid evidence refutes these consistent ancient accounts. The reason for the silence is clear. Acknowledging giants would force a rewrite of history. It would admit we are not the first civilization, nor the most advanced. It would mean we once walked with beings of immense power, and that a great lie was built so we would forget where we truly come from. YouTube channel Nos Confunden.